I am not a Taylor Swift fan, but I would like to be. Taylor Swift has a brand new album, Midnight's, coming out in 3 days, and I'm going to try my absolute hardest to become a Swiftie in 3 days. I'm going to be learning as much as I possibly can and literally testing myself at the end to see if it's possible to become a Swiftie in 3 days. I know an okay number of her songs, like the ones that are on the radio, and then a couple more, but honestly, I haven't even scratched the surface. I'm pretty sure she has over 200 songs released, so that is a crazy number of songs, and I'm going to be listening to every single one of them in the next few days and trying to listen to them even more so I can get a feel for them, trying to get to know them. So here is the game plan, and I wrote it down because it is extensive. So I'm going to listen to every single song that Taylor Swift has released, and I'm going to be looking for unreleased ones too. I know every artist just about has those songs like floating around YouTube that they never released, so I am going to be looking for those too. I'm going to read articles, watch interviews, watch movies. I'm just trying to learn as much as I possibly can. I am going to make my own song ranking and compare before and after which my favorites are. I know it's going to change, so I'm going to compare my beginning and after ranking. I am going to give myself an exam at the end of kind of all of like the generic facts, like birthday, family, pets, like stuff like that. I'm going to be quizzing myself on it in the end, and we'll see how well I'm able to retain this knowledge. Finally, I'm going to analyze a song like poetry because I'm in an AP literature class right now and I've really been enjoying analyzing poetry. So I'm going to dive really deep into one of her songs and see what deeper meaning I can find from it. And then finally, I'm going to enjoy Midnight's as our grand finale. I am a pretty big and shameless fangirl, so I feel like I'll be able to do this, although it does normally take weeks or even months to become like a hardcore fan of somebody. I'm gonna just totally speedrun it. I think I can do this, so I guess let's get started. The first task I've set out for myself is to create a whole extensive list of kind of the songs that I know and which ones are my favorites. I know probably I could pick out top 3 right now, but I do need to look through every song that she's ever released and pick out which ones I know and which ones I like, and I'm going to come back when I have, I think, a good like top 10 songs. So I'm going to show you guys that, and then at the end we're going to compare and see how it has changed, and obviously there are going to be new songs too with Midnight, so I'll get to add those in too. I am very excited for this, so let's start going through Taylor's discography and picking out which my favorite songs are as a non-committal Taylor appreciator, but definitely not a Swiftie. So I've officially come up with my top 10, I guess. I don't think we can really stick to these because they could be in any order. I guess these are just like the 10 that I listen to most often. I was scrolling through my like most listened to songs on Tidal and I found a couple of them were pretty high up there, and I know they were way higher before I got like really obsessed with Harry Styles and One Direction, but now Taylor's fallen like down and down. I apologize, but this 3 days is going to bring her way up. So, my top 10. Number 1 is Style. There's no question about it. I love that song. 2 is Getaway Car. 3, we have All Too Well, the 10-minute version, obviously, and if any of these have a Taylor's version, the Taylor's version is my favorite. That's the one I listen to. Next, I have Red, Willow, Champagne Problems because it makes me really sad, but it's an awesome song. Blank Space, Wildest Dreams, Cruel Summer, and The Lakes. I know this is going to change drastically because a lot of these are like kind of basic, to be honest, but I gotta listen to all the music before I can have a real solid top 10. So I'm really excited to compare my future top 10 with this because I know after doing a lot of research and like learning the backgrounds of the songs as well as just like really listening to them, I know it's going to change. So now I'm going to clean up my room, put my headphones in, and I'm just going to listen. I think I'm going to start at the beginning. We're going to do some really throwback Taylor.
I'm so far away from home in this desert of regrets. never thought that I would have to let you go.
So my room is clean now, and I've listened to all of her self-titled album, the first album, which embarrassingly enough, I didn't know what the first album was. I was thinking it was Fearless and then Speak Now, but no, there's an album called Taylor Swift that I completely forgot about, so I do have a lot to learn. But I am not the biggest fan of like her early days just because I don't like country at all, so it is a little harder for me to listen to, but it's just amazing to hear how much her voice has changed, like from her recent music to like all the way back to her first album. So that's really cool, and how like the songwriting has improved vastly from way back when. So it is going to be interesting to see like the whole progression, and then all the way up to like right now when Midnights comes out, so that'll be fun. But I think my favorite song on Taylor Swift is Picture to Burn, maybe? I'm not exactly sure. I didn't like all of them very much just because I'm not into country, but I'm going to go to bed now, but tomorrow morning, bright and early, we are starting with Fearless. It is day 2 of Operation Swiftie, and you already know I'm listening everywhere I go, everything I'm doing. I'm listening to one of Taylor's albums. I've gotten through the first 3 at this point, and we're just gonna keep chugging through, so I have to go to school, but I'm going to be listening on the way there, on the way back, and I have a couple more activities tonight, on the way there, on the way back, of course. Once I get back from school, I think I'm gonna start cramming for my little exam thing that I'm doing tomorrow. I'm excited to keep going with this challenge. So I'm back from school now, and I think it's time to get serious, so I'm going to be compiling a whole list of like facts that I should know, and you know I'm going to make a Quizlet, and then that's eventually going to turn into my test. Because let's get started. There's no way to do this except diving in, so let's dive in.
If I could travel back in time, I'd lay a blanket full of stars to brighten up the darkness of our sleepless nights. I'd find a way to make you smile, but I will break your fall, even if you don't love me, even if you don't love me. I will break your fall, even if you don't love me, even if you don't love me.
So I'm getting ready for bed. Yes, I took a shower, so my hair's wet and looks a little strange, but it is Midnight's night. We're just a couple hours out. I'm very excited. I feel like I've learned so much in these past 3 days that like this is the culmination of all of the knowledge that I've crammed into my head in the past 3 days. All of the endless songs that I've listened to over and over and over again, every single Taylor Swift album. So I'm very, very excited to listen to Midnights. So I will see you guys in just a couple of hours. So see you guys at midnight. I look really tired, but it is Midnight's time, so I'm going to listen through and then go back to bed because I'm really tired. So I guess I'm gonna set you guys up. I'm gonna start listening and you can see my reactions. Okay, Lavender Haze is really good. I really liked that, so I don't know if it's gonna continue that good, but let's move on. The next one is Maroon. This is kind of like Reputation vibes. 3 songs, and I'm going to come back with my like full reactions later because I feel like I need to like sit, listen, and soak it all in. So I will be back. I'm gonna go through all of this again later, and I'm gonna see if the culmination of all of my research and planning and just studying in general, if all of that paid off making me a Swiftie. So let's see. I think it's looking good based on what I think of Midnight so far, and a little later, once I do the absolute final bit of studying, I'm going to take my test, so we'll see. I think I'm well due for an update on Operation Swiftie. So Midnights came out today in the wee hours of this morning. I listened to the whole album. I listened to it again after the 3 a.m. version, and I think at this point I probably listened to it 3 times through. I do have some thoughts. I'm not attached to the music yet. There are a couple that I like. I do like Karma. So we'll see what this turns into, whether I end up like actually really liking the album or if it's just okay, which I feel like it's just okay at this point. It's not my favorite of her albums yet, but we'll see. I am gonna give myself like another day to really decide and like really ruminate on this topic to see if I'm a fan or not. I'm still having trouble deciding. So I do have kind of a proud moment for me though, because you know I've been working really hard on my research and listening to the music very diligently, but today in my AP Environmental Science class we came in and my teacher is a big Swiftie, so we all came in and we were like talking about Midnights, and we held up this conversation, like me and maybe like 3 other students, and my teacher held up a like solid conversation about Taylor Swift and her music and like what is best, and also like not like trivia questions but kind of more obscure facts, and I was able to keep up my end of the conversation, so I was really proud that I was able to retain that knowledge. Their thoughts about Midnights were that they just weren't quite attached to it again as well, so I don't know, maybe I'll like try to keep up with that. If I decide that I'm a fan or not, I still haven't decided, but I just really enjoyed being able to have that conversation. It gave me a little more confidence in what I've been learning. I haven't taken my official test yet that I made. I just wanted to give myself like the rest of the day to work on this and to enjoy Midnights. So I guess tonight or early tomorrow morning I'm going to take the official quiz and I'll let you guys know if I pass the knowledge test. I think I've passed the song test at this point. I've listened to so many Taylor Swift songs in the past 3 days. So many. Like every single album I've listened through, and I do have a couple like, I don't want to say new developments because I kind of already knew this before, but it kind of solidified my ideas from before that 1989 is my favorite album. I listen to every album, so I think it's a pretty good judgment at this point. I just feel like I could jam out to just about any of those songs any day. Well, some of the other albums aren't necessarily that way for me at least, so I'm glad I figured out which is my favorite album. I kind of feel like the Red 1989 Reputation era is like my favorite, although the songwriting in the newer songs is better, the storytelling is better. I just feel like I groove with those 3 albums a bit better, but I think I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts in the morning because you know I'm absolutely gonna keep on that Taylor Swift grind. I'm going to keep listening to her music. I'm going to analyze one of her songs. I'm not sure exactly which one, but I'm going to pick one from Midnights because not a lot has been said about it. I haven't really been on TikTok. I don't want to hear like, not spoilers, but other people's thoughts, and then I guess I will come back and tell you guys about it.
Words like water in my hands. I guess there's nothing left to say. Never thought that I would have to let you go.
I feel like I've done enough studying of Taylor for today with Midnights coming out and everything, listening to it so many times. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I am going to have a campfire, hang out. Maybe I'll listen to a little Taylor Swift, maybe not. I just want to let you guys know I'm taking a little break because it has been a lot in the past 3 days. I am going to finish annotating the song that I picked, and I'm going to be revealing that to you and explaining it all. I'll probably reveal it tomorrow when I do my whole like wrap up thing, when I take the test and everything. So I guess I will see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, it is time to wrap up Operation Swiftie. So I'm here to give you my final song ranking, my favorite song from every album, my test scores, kind of my overall feelings after doing this, kind of what I learned, what I still want to learn, and the grand question, did I make myself a Swiftie or not? We are going to see. I did annotate Lavender Haze because I think Lavender Haze and Karma are my favorites off of Midnights after I've listened to it a bunch of times, although they were my favorites from the beginning, so I don't know if this is going to change later. Now we are on to my favorite song from every album, and this is a little unexpected for me actually because it was hard to pick a favorite from some of these albums, especially the ones that I really like. I'm going to tell you guys my favorite album as well, which I kind of think we already knew from the beginning, to be honest. Off of Taylor Swift, the self-titled album, my favorite is Picture to Burn. Honestly, I didn't like very many of these songs. I'm not into country. We already knew that, but I had to pick one, so I think Picture to Burn was the one that I enjoyed the most. Next, off of Fearless, Love Story is my favorite, just because I remember that song way back, maybe not from when it came out, but from when it was really popular, like on the radio. I just remember like growing up listening to that, so that is my favorite off of Fearless. Then on Speak Now, I think it's Dear John. That song is just, I don't know, I need to listen to it more, but I think it's kind of a masterpiece. Next, on Red, my favorite is Red, because I couldn't pick Red off of Red Taylor's version, so that would be my favorite for the first version of Red. Then off of 1989, my favorite is Style. And Reputation, my favorite is Getaway Car. Lover, my favorite is Cruel Summer. Folklore, my favorite is August. And then Forevermore, I couldn't choose, so it's either Willow or Champagne Problems. It kind of just depends on my mood. Off of Fearless Taylor's version, my favorite is Mr. Perfectly Fine. And Red Taylor's version, obviously it's All Too Well, like there's no competition there. And off of Midnights, I think Karma and Lavender Haze are tied right now. I can't exactly pick, but I had a lot of trouble picking for a couple of these. 1989, I love that entire album. That is by far my favorite Taylor Swift album. I really like Red, I love Reputation, and then I think Evermore, so I have some difficulty coming up with which my favorite album is and what my favorite songs are. My thoughts on Midnights. Originally, I wasn't super sold on it. I did like those two songs, but I wasn't sold on the entire thing. But I have listened to Midnights many, many times since it came out, and I'd say I'm pretty sold on it. I don't know whether I'm going to do another complete deep dive into every single song of Midnights, but I did enjoy it. I do like being a part of something, and I was definitely a part of something coming into school and being able to talk about all this stuff intelligently, like I told you guys about in my environmental science class. That happened again in my AP literature class as well. I was talking with some people at my table about the songs on Midnights, and I was actually able to keep up my end of the conversation, so I was kind of proud of that. My test results, I got 32 out of 35. I actually found a pretty good test on the internet. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I was able to do a reasonable job on it. And for 3 days of studying, to be honest, I did a lot more studying on the music and a lot less on the trivia, I still did pretty well in the trivia quiz. Okay, here is the final song ranking, I think. Final being a very loose term because I know this is going to change every single time I listen to her music. But number 1, we have All Too Well, Taylor's version, 10 minutes, obviously. Style, Getaway Car, Willow, Gold Rush, which I kind of didn't have an appreciation for before, but now I really do. I really like that. It just kind of caught my attention. Then Blank Space, The Lakes, Karma and Lavender Haze. Those are kind of interchangeable, but they're both there. And then Red, Taylor's version. So it did kind of change a lot. It's a lot of the same songs towards the beginning, but we did get a couple different ones in there, so I feel like I did expand my horizons for sure. I listened to loads and loads of music. I can't even tell you how many hours I spent listening to Taylor Swift's music throughout these past couple of days, and it has definitely changed my opinion of her and expanded my music horizons. But the biggest thing I've learned, and you guys, you Swifties are going to be mad at me about this, the biggest thing I've learned throughout this time is actually how much of a Harry Styles fan I am. I know it sounds bad, but going back to Harry's music after listening to Taylor for so many days, it just felt like a breath of fresh air. I just like his music so much better. I'm sorry. I'm just a Harry at heart. I don't think I'm a Swiftie. I could try again, maybe when the next album comes out, maybe I'll give myself a little more time, but deep down, I think I really just am a Harry Styles fan. I don't think I can be a Taylor Swift fan too. It's just such a high barrier of entry to become a fan of her. I've definitely become more of an appreciator. I know a lot more about her and about her music and kind of just like the deeper meaning that each song holds, but I wouldn't say that I am a Swiftie. I don't think I can give myself that title. I just like Carrie so much better. I don't feel as captured by Taylor Swift's music and by her persona. It was a whirlwind these past couple of days, but I really enjoyed it. I love learning new things and listening to music, so just putting that all together was really interesting. And you guys know I'm a huge fangirl, so I love just like picking one person and just like learning as much as I can about them and just like really focusing on them, doing a deep dive. So I really enjoyed it, but let me know if you guys want me to try again with another artist, or if you want me to try again with Taylor. If you really think I could be a Swiftie, let me know and I can give it another try. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on all social media at Rosie Revolts. Check out my Etsy shop, also at Rosie Revolts, and my books, actually, at GetOutdoorsBook.com and InspiringWomanBook.com. And I will see you guys later. Bye!